Okay, so until now, what we have done is a couple of things regarding SQL. Like initially, we started with SQL's brief introduction and then tried to get a gauge of understanding like what things can be performed using SQL, like right from database creation to table creations and then inserting data into the table as well as working on the data which is present inside the table. And then later on, we move to some specific keywords which have been provided by SQL to write queries. And one of the query was like using some standard and the most frequently used keywords were like select, that is select star from table name like this. And in addition to this query itself, we understood something like a where keyword, which can be helped to give a condition. And based on that condition, we can filter out the rows what we need. So in the provided condition itself, like after providing the condition, let's say like this, age greater than 10, what we understood was later on, like the data which we're getting, how can we order them in a certain format? And in order to, in a way to solve them in ascending or descending order, we understood there is a keyword called as order by, and then provide a column name like age or name so that we can sort it in ascending or descending. So the next thing what we understood was like when we want to do order by default, it is always going to be ascending, which is short form character of ASC for ascending. And if you want to order it in descending, then we write DESC, which is a shorter form of descending keyword. And later on, after this, what we learned was more about using logical operators within this where condition. So one of the logical operator was called as and, then the other one was or, and the next one was not. So using these three logical operators, we can write our conditions like this, like let's say age greater than 10 and age is again less than 100. Then or can be one more condition like name, like where it starts with a certain character, let's say P1 and not name equal to P5. Like these are like some specific conditions which I'm giving just to showcase how we can use the cascading like together using and or and not keyword. And in addition to this keywords, what we learned last time was using this wild character, which is a percentile character, and it had like three cases. Like if you want to find certain name which starts with a certain character, then we will give the certain character there first, and followed by that certain character, we will give the percentile sign, which will indicate that I'm looking for a certain name which starts with a certain character. Then later on, it can be, then the next check which we did with the percentile character was we can utilize the percentile character at the start so that, and that last one will remove it so that here we understand is we can have zero or more characters in the name initially, but it should end with character which is P. This was a second condition. And the last condition was placing the wild character before and after the character, which indicates our name, which we have, contains the character P, and that P can be at initial position or at the last position or in between. So this includes all the positions. So that's where we stopped regarding the SQL. Now moving forward, what we'll be doing is more of keywords, like covering all the keywords which are being provided by SQL and how to use those keywords in our SQL query like this. So the new keyword which we'll be learning now is called as between. So this keyword is called as a between character. between keyword. Now looking at this between keyword, it again specifies based on like its regular understanding of English, like it's gonna give you certain values out of your result set like this if we provide a condition which is between. So for example, the definition here is gives the result, increase the font a bit, gives the result based on condition provided in between statement. So between is basically like we will use this keyword in our where clause. So as we saw these conditions, now in these conditions, wherever you see, like let's remove these conditions. Now this is just one condition. Now in this condition, I'm just asking like age should be greater than 0. But what if I want to provide a certain range, like I want the age should be greater than 0 and less than, like let's say 100. So how can I do that? So one of the way of doing it is using the and keyword, which we understood last time, like age is greater than 0 and age is less than 100, so that we incorporate the range which we are looking for. Like my range of age should be between 0 and 100. Similar to this and which is working for this, between also works. So instead of and, we can write is between. Now this doesn't means and between both are same. And is basically working same in this situation because we are using the condition here on a similar column. So that's why and is looking same. But what if we are giving another condition, like instead of age, I'm saying age greater than 0 and name equal to P1. And if I place a between here instead of and, this will not work because, right? Because between is looking for a range, and range means it needs to be worked on only single column and not two columns like this. So if you read select star from person, which is going to retrieve me the data where age is greater than 0 between name equal to P1, this is wrong syntax, like it will not work. And this example is basically just to show you difference between and between. So and is nothing but it can use to add as many conditions which we want. So this is my condition 1, this is my condition 2, but between is used for a range. So let's say example is find out people find persons from table whose age is between 0 and 100. So how do I do that? So since I have a data in this person table where there are like 6 persons whose name is P1 to P6 and their age is from 10 to 35. Now, how can I retrieve people from this table whose age is between 0 and 100? So as the query suggests, we need to use this where condition. And since I'm looking for age column, I will write age greater than 0. And then second range was age 100. So age less than 100. So if I write between here, this is just a partially worked up query, like partially created query, which will help us understand, okay, out of the list which I'm getting, I'm trying to find out people whose age is greater than 0 and age is less than 100. So since I'm using a between keyword, instead of mentioning the same column twice, I will just give the range like 0 and 100. So I don't need this second conditions variable name, which is column name, as well as this greater than equal to sign. So now if I read the complete query, it is more like an English language itself, like select star from person where age should be between 0 and 100. So this is how between works, where between needs every time a range which has start as well as end, and then it has to be using and only every time. Whenever we want to use this between, it has to use this and keyword for providing the range. Now here we cannot give or condition here between 0 or 100. So this doesn't work, right? Because whenever we are providing a range like start and end, it is always going to be deterministic value, like what should be my start and what should be my end. So that's the reason it will always have its and present. So looking at this final query, now it is saying select star from person where age is between 0 and 100. So that means I'm trying to find out all people whose age is between 0 and 100. Now, since it is between, this includes age, or just to help you understand how this condition is working, is age is greater than equal to 0 and age is less than equal to 100. So this is the equivalent condition using and for this check. One of the key thing to note over here is if you're providing start and end range, it includes those numbers also. That means it is including 0, which is like this equal to condition, like age is equal to 0 and greater than 0, and it is again less than equal to 0. That means it's considering 100 also. So it is including your start and end as well as between numbers. So that's how we can get all the data set. So if I run this, I'm getting the same range because it was going from 10 to 35. Let's say I give range from 0 to 25. So that's the reason I'm getting 10 to 25 because it's including the end range, which is 25, which I'm giving. If I give 24 here, what will happen is it will just give me first three because 24 is excluded now, 0 to 20. So it's looking at this, it's nothing but between is used to provide start and end of it. Now coming back to this again definition, what we learn here is gives the result based on condition provided between statement. So now my condition which I provided is this 0 and 24 on a certain column. And one of the key thing other than the inclusion which I talked about, it can be applicable only on a single column at a time. Now this doesn't means if I write say like age and name between 0 and 24, this will not work because this condition of applying this between 0 and 24 will not apply on these two columns. It will only apply on single column, and that single column is nothing but age. So these are like two key things to be considered. The first thing is it will be applicable only on a single column. And then while applying the between, I need start and end range, and the numbers which I'm giving will be included in that range. That means 0 and 24 is included in my range. Here 0 and 25 is included. Now coming back here, looking at this, what is the syntax? Syntax here is nothing but select star from table where my column name between start and end, where the start and end are like my required numbers, and is nothing but a keyword. So we can write it short form of and, that is also fine. But this ID is automatically making it uppercase. That's the reason it's showing. But SQL doesn't mind the smaller cases also. It works in that case also. And the example was like trying to find out people, and this is the example. Now, since in the question we are asking 0 to 100, that's why I'm giving 0 to 100. I'll run it and save my query. So this is easy part of between, which is nothing but like trying to find. Let me reduce this port. Okay. Okay. Now this completes between keyword. Now moving forward, what are the next keywords which are provided by SQL? Now one of the next keyword which is provided by SQL is called as in. So looking at this in, it is again like inferred from our regular English that what it does is it gives the result based on a range which user provides and condition. So what is the definition? It gives the result like this based on the range which user provides in condition. Now, if you look over this between, here we provided the range which was linear. That means 0 to 100 means it is going sequentially right from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 100. What if we want to just give certain range? Like let's say I want to find out range where like age is like 10, then 15, then 20 and 25. Only in this, if my age is having these values, four values, and this is my four values range, and it doesn't means like it will include numbers between 10 to 15, that is 11, 12, 13 and 14 are not included. Only the values which I provide should be included in the range. For that case, I will utilize this in keyword. So let's say I want to write a example, right? Now find person from table whose age is either 10 or 15 or 25. So how can we write a query for this? Like find person from the table whose age is either 10 or 15 or 25. Or we can again say like 35, just to add one more condition. So one of the way of doing this based on this example query is we'll write a select star from person where age equal to 10 or age equal to 15 or age equal to 25 or age equal to 35. So looking at this query and the question, it is satisfying whatever we need. So this indicates my question and my query is working, and based on our past concepts which we learned, we can run the query. But in addition to this, what is the other way of getting the data using this in keyword is, instead of providing all the conditions one after another, which has been applied on a single column only, what we'll do is we'll get the conditions into a bracket, which is round bracket. The values were like 10, which I need, then 15, 25, and 35. So these are the four values which I need whose age should be. So what I can write is select star from person where age in 10, 15, 25, 35. Now this indicates I'm trying to find out people whose age is in this list of inputs. Now this list of inputs are nothing but my user provided input. And here I'm not looking for a range, which is like going from either 0 to 100, like sequentially considering all the numbers. But what I'm giving a range is the range of user defined values which I want. And I just want to find people whose age is either 10, 15, 25, or 35. So if I run this, I'm getting all the people whose age is either 10, 15, 12, or 35. So that is the use of this in keyword. Now looking at this in keyword, what it suggests is it is more so like equivalent of the or condition which we used prior, like the one which I wrote here, age equal to 10 or age equal to 15 or age equal to 25 or age equal to 35. So these two conditions which I wrote, this one and this one, both are similar. But just to make it in a more shorter format and trying to understand, there is another way of writing the query using this in keyword. We can utilize this in keyword because writing these multiple condition doesn't always makes point, because here now we just have four values. What if we have 50 values? In that case, we can utilize the range or like the between which we used. And in those 50 values, if you have just specific numbers, then we can purely write in this list like in followed by the values which we want. So syntax for this is select star from person where column name in, then open bracket, close bracket, and list of user provided values. And these list of user provided values are comma separated. Comma separated is nothing but like I'm putting a comma after every value so that I know this list is comma separated value. So what is the query for this? So query for this is 10, 15, 25, and 35, which is this one. So that satisfies the in condition. So now since we understood two things, one is between and the other one is in, what we understood from between is it is more so in the lines of and condition. Like whenever we want to use the between, it should have and in it in that range. And it is working more of similar like and condition, and in is more so working like or condition, where the user values which I have provided are basically checking for or values like age in 10 or age in 15 or age in 25 or age in 35. And here we are not checking greater than or less than values. Here we are checking is equal to values. That is age is equal to 10 or age is equal to 15 or 25 or 35, like that. So these are some of the important keywords which are every day used on running queries on database to pull out the results. Now, this is like more so like end of the session for like selects, like end of the concepts for selects, where select is basically used to retrieve data from the table. Like using this select, we retrieved, and while retrieving, we utilize all the keywords which we seen now as well as like last couple of lectures. How do I filter out? Like how do I choose only certain records based on condition? As well as how do I use those keywords in combination also so that I can retrieve only certain set of data based on my needs. Now moving forward, other than retrieving of data, what SQL provides is data updates also. So that is nothing but like, let's say example is this is my table and I have all the persons data present in this table. What I want to do is for my person P1, the age is 10, but somehow this is incorrectly shown. I need to update this value from 10 to let's say 25 or like let's say 25. How do I update it? So for this kind of situations where we want to update the values, and these values are nothing but just for age, it can be for any column like name also we can update it as well as age. So overall in a general scenario, if you want to update values in the database, that is in the table, SQL provides us a query where we can specifically update for a certain row in the table, or we can update a certain column directly using the update statements. So now you'll understand more like when I show you example. So to tell you what is the next thing is how do I update data in a table. So how do I update a data in table using SQL? So in order to update data in SQL, SQL provides a keyword called as update. So now this keyword is similar to like the other keywords which we're learning. So this update keyword helps SQL understand that, okay, it needs to update the data. Now, just this keyword will not work in this select statement. It has to be purely used as a new query. So the syntax for this update is update followed by table name. And after my table name, so whatever I'm writing within this double quotes is nothing but I need to provide my table name. And then later on, I need to use a keyword called as set. And I need to specify which column I want to update. Now the column which I want to update can be any column one. This again goes into quotes equal to my value, whatever I want to provide the value. Now my value is also user defined. And then I will provide a where condition where column one equal to some condition value. Now these condition values are also user defined. Now looking at this, it's somewhat tricky. Let's take one quick example. Now example is update age of person P1 from 10 to 25. That means I need to update this person's record from 10 to 25. How do I do that? If I refer the query, I'll write update followed by table name, which is person. And in this table, I will write set. Now, what do I need to update? I need to update is age. So my column here is age equal to, and what should be my final value? My final value is 25 because originally it is 10. I need to update to 25. So this is going to help update the age. Now, since if I run this query as it is, what SQL is going to do is it is going to update age equal to 25 for all the rows, right from first row to last row. But since I just need to update for the first row, I'll be providing a condition. Now, condition can be again like using the where keyword, where my condition is nothing but name equal to P1. That means I am updating for person P1, and age can be 10, which is like an optional. Like this condition is optional because here we just have is only single record for P1. But if you have two records with P1 and both of their ages are different, like let's say first P1 is ages 10, second record is also P1, but its age is 15. But we just need to update for the first P1 record. For that case, we'll give this two conditions to make sure we are picking up the correct row where name equal to P1 and age equal to 10, and then it will update it to 25. Now, one of the key thing about this update is once it is executed, I cannot revert it back to 10. Like once I execute, this 10 will go to 25. And then again, if I want to redo it, right, undo it from 25 to 10, I cannot do it. It's like a one-time operation. It's done means done. So if I execute it, this is executed. Now, if I do select query, select star from person and run it, you'll see age of P1 is updated to 25. So now the reason what I was saying is now this since 25 is updated from 10, I cannot redo it back to 10. So this is how critical this operation is, like update operation. It's like once it is executed, you have to carefully update it. Now example here is just like 6 rows. What if there are like millions of rows and if only a single update statement goes incorrectly executed, it is going to corrupt the data. Like it is going to incorrectly update the age values for all the incorrect rows. So that's why everyone say is this update statement is more critical where we are trying to modify the data. This is like very critical thing in SQL. Now, this is the query, how we can update the data. Now, this updating data is widely used for a lot of things. Like it's just not for updating for age. Let's say I want to update the name. Like instead of updating name from P1, I can update it to P10. How do I do it? So my condition remains different now because name equal to P1 and age should be now 25. And instead of age, I need to update is name. So name equal to P1. So what I'm saying is update person set name equal to P10 where name equal to P1 and age equal to 25. If I run it, it is going to update the name from P1 to P10. So this is how we can update columns at a time. Now, one of the key things about this update is it doesn't need only single column at a time. It can have multiple columns also. Let's say I want to update these two rows, like these two columns at a time. Like I need to revert it back to the original value. Like P10 should move to P1 and 8 should be moved to 25 to 10. In single update, I can do that. So first I need to say name of my where condition should be P1 0 because this where condition is going to help us get the row P1 0 and age equal to 25. That means first row. And then my name should be P1. For my second column, I will give comma age equal to 10. This way I'm providing two columns and executing it. Once I execute, and then if I do the select query, okay, select star from person, and if I run it, you'll see the original data. P1 is updated to P10 is updated to P1 and age is updated to 10. So what we understood is update not only works on single column, but it updates on two columns, name, comma, age. And it's just not two columns, it can be multiple columns. We just have to provide separated by commas. Now, that's the only thing we need to provide. So this way, using single update, we can update multiple rows as well as multiple columns also. Now, the last thing what I'll show you is if I need to update age of all the records to 100, how can I do that? So for that, I'll do update person age equal to 100. And if I just write age equal to 100 and I'm not providing any where condition like this, and if I execute it, set is missing, set age equal to 100. If I execute this, now if I run select star from person, you'll see all the rows are updated to age equal to 100. So the initial query which we looked here is more critical because here we are not giving any where condition. That's why it is going to update whole table, which is very risky. So that's why we give more emphasis on the where condition every time. But this is just one way to show if you want to update a single column to a certain value in one go is this one. So this completes update example as well as understanding. So now for this session, I think we just have 1 minute left. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. So now since you guys have no question, what we'll do is we'll end the session now and we'll continue on the next session like in next 1 or 2 days. And we'll move
Okay,
forward with
sir.
more update operations now as well as delete operations. This was just on
Okay.
how to update. Next will be how do I delete. So those things we'll cover in the next session.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you, both
Thank you,
of you.
sir.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.